All right, Coach, I'll let you open with your statement, and then we'll turn it over for questions.
So a very disappointing loss, and not just because of the final play or the final kick. I thought we played very poorly for 3 quarters, and we were probably very fortunate and very lucky even to have a chance to win that game at the end. We're really struggling right now on offense. We're struggling up front. We're struggling at quarterback. Really, I would say our defense generated probably every score just about today, except we had the one long play to Willing. But other than that, if our defense doesn't get picks and return them for touchdowns, it's probably a much worse of a score. And again, really, made some stops on defense and made some big plays, but really, again, the whole key was getting off on 3rd down, and we didn't rush the passer well, and we didn't cover very well. So again, I think the score is a little misleading. I think Buffalo really outplayed us today, and overall, just a real disappointing effort.
Dave, would you start with your emotions in those last 5 minutes, because you've struggled so much, and yet you get, Lorenzi's return.
We made a handful of critical plays to give us a chance to win, but just the bottom line is we never really got anything going on offense, and they almost had to hand us the game for us to win it, and they tried to, and even then we didn't capitalize.
What's the situation with Matt at quarterback?
He just was not able to go. Just was not strong enough. And, we tried to get him ready this week in practice, and he practiced Tuesday, and we were hopeful, and then Wednesday he didn't feel well, and then we made a decision Thursday that he wouldn't play unless it was an emergency.
You changed the personnel around on the offensive line. You talked about the thinking there, and obviously it didn't work that well.
Well, it wasn't a matter of changing it. It was Blake Walker, got hurt at Michigan. He didn't practice, couldn't play. So we thought we would have him, and then Wednesday he couldn't practice, and so now, you're down, between Scott Lewis being out and Boychuk was hurt, and we got Ben back, but we lost Blake, and so we had to reshuffle the whole offensive line, and we really struggled up front. We struggled we certainly didn't run block him at all, and we struggled to hold up in protection.
What's Blake's status then?
Who knows? We really after Michigan thought we'd have him this week, and he didn't feel like he could go. So he didn't go, and we had to completely reshuffle the offensive line on Thursday.
Will you talk a little bit about Aaron's play at quarterback, and how much is that affected by knowing that Matt's in the mix at least early in the week?
He got the majority of the reps, and we got Matt in there to run inside run and hand the ball off, but the majority of the throws he got, almost all the passes, almost all the ones versus ones. 2 quarterbacks split reps anyways, and he certainly got most of the starter reps. So it certainly wasn't giving reps to Matt that had him unprepared for this game.
What was your mindset that went into the decision to go for 2 when it was a 19-28 game?
Well, we were down 15, and we were going to have to go for 2 at some point. And I would rather know after the first touchdown whether it's going to be a 1-score game or a 2-score game. So we were going to have to go for 2. If we kicked an extra point there, we're down 8. It's still a 1-score game, but you're going to have to go for 2 the next time. And I didn't want to have to manage the last 5 minutes of the game not knowing if we needed 1 score or 2 scores. So I thought, go for 2. Now find out, okay, is it a 7-point game, you play for 1 score in overtime, or now you're down 9 and you have to play for 2 scores. So we were going to make the same call on the 2-point play, regardless if we're down by 9 or down by 2. So we figured we had to play, let's roll with it and see what we need to do from there on.
When you talk about the field position game, that off kickoffs and punts I'm talking about there, it seemed to me that they had the better of the game that way.
Yeah, it's just a lot of penalties in the special teams. We had some good returns, and they keep getting walked back. So Tyrone Prine's kickoff return to midfield, it comes back, it's on the 10-yard line. And they flipped the field on us in the first quarter, and it was really a game of, the wind was severe out there. And if you had the wind, it was a lot easier to slide, and if you didn't have the wind, it was really hard to throw the ball. And we made a decision coming out of halftime that we wanted to win in the fourth quarter, in case we had to throw it and to prevent them from throwing it. And the third quarter looked like it backfired, and then probably the fourth quarter that gave us a chance to get back in it.
When you talk about the play of the defensive line, I mean, it looks like it's still the same situation where there's not a lot of rush or danger on their quarterback until late when everybody's motion's up.
Late in the game, we got some pressure, but that was a disappointing part of the game. We really believed we could get pressure similar to the Marshall game this week, and we didn't do it. They blocked us. And right now, the thing that absolutely is really hurting our football team is we cannot get off the field on third down. We don't rush the passer very well, we're not covering people very well, and so we're losing the time of possession, we're losing the field position, because right now our third down defense is really poor.
Coach, touching on that a little bit, how do you assess the defensive performance after a game like this? You made some big plays, forcing turnovers, but it's
just too uneven. We made some big plays, and there were some great individual efforts, but just that first half, we gave up 268 yards in the first half. They converted 8 of 11 third downs. The time of possession was 21-9. We're just not getting off the field. And we had a lot. It wasn't 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s they were converting them. It was 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7s, and it's a catch-22. We're not pressuring well, we're not covering well, and we've been hurt in the blitz game the last 2 weeks, and we did a little bit more 4-man rush today, hoping we could win some matchups, and we didn't.
So you mentioned the wind. Did that affect Brian's kick at the end? Did that push that to the right? Or
I don't think so, because the crosswind was really the other way. If anything, the wind was blowing the other way. So, and I thought that would play well. But, he's a right-footed kicker that would naturally hook the ball, and you started at the right goalpost, and you think with the wind and the draw, it'll bring it right in there. And when he hit it, I thought it was good. Our sideline was celebrating.
We spent a week beating you up on the tackling. From what you saw on the sideline, better?
I thought the tackling was much better, but John, a lot of that, a lot of times tackling just has to do with athletes. I don't think you can drill it or work on it or coach it. Generally when you're one-on-one in space, the better athlete usually wins. And we certainly coach technique, but obviously, Buffalo is a good football team, and they did a nice job today, but they certainly don't have the skill level that Michigan does. And because of that, we were better in space.
So, can you just wrap up where the emotion is for this team now? Obviously, a difficult loss.
Yeah, it's, nobody feels bad for us. Nobody feels sorry for us. And, I told the guys, it's only going to get worse if they don't come together. That it was a tough game, but it didn't come down to one kick or one play. It came down to the first 3 quarters of not executing the way that we need to execute. We are a very, very young football team, but we're not young anymore. We're 5 games into a season. That can no longer be an excuse of losing a contain or not running a coverage correctly or not blocking an assignment. We're halfway into the season. Those guys have played a lot of reps, and they need to prepare better and play better.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.